What's up, Chief? It's Mirzy here, and for the past week, I have spent about 30 hours of my time tracking 50 of the best Wonderkids in FM26. Yes, I've been tracking players like Yamal, Zaire-Emery, Endrick, and 47 others, and I've documented everything: their development curves, the clubs they've moved to, their peak abilities, and most importantly, which ones actually lived up to the hype throughout their careers and why. So without further ado, here are the top 5 things I learned tracking the 50 best Wonderkids in FM26 for 15 seasons. So as a background, the 50 Wonderkids I picked are the 50 best rated Wonderkids in FM26 in these 10 positions. I took charge of a random team, which was Everton in this case, and shortlisted these 50 players and kept track of their progress after simulating for 15 seasons and having a save point after every single year. The number one thing that I learned while doing these experiments and simulations with these Wonderkids in FM26 is how versatility can stunt development. I noticed that about 5 seasons in, when players are about 24 to 26, players who are not versatile and are specialists, a center back or a player who can just play striker, those players were reaching their potential a lot quicker compared to players, who are a little bit more versatile and cover more positions. If we look at the short list and filter by current ability, the guys that are, fulfilling their current ability by the 5th, 6th year are guys like Buadi, who is just a center mid, or Lenny Euro, who's just a center back, or Lamine Yamal, who's pretty much just playing on the right wing. He can play other positions, but not that well. So he's really just pretty much a right winger. Compare this to guys lower down who are not close to fulfilling their potential ability. Somebody like Esteval, who's, 20, 25 away from fully fulfilling his potential ability. Again, he can play in multiple positions. If we go further down, you see somebody like Luka Williams-Barnett, who is really far away, and he is a bit younger to be fair, but look, he's very versatile. He can play multiple positions. And not to mention that if you can play multiple positions, that already eats into your current ability. Yes, that means that somebody who can play striker only and has 200 current ability is a better player when it comes to their ratings relative to somebody who can play, all front 3 positions and has 200 current ability. And if that's a fact that you did not know, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Over 90% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so it would be greatly appreciated if you could hit subscribe and like this video as well. Ooh, and I also have a Twitch channel. Make sure to follow me on there. I stream FM content daily. Right now I got a save going on with a National League team. The second thing that I learned, which is something that's very important and I'd say pretty well known in the FM community, and that is the fact that potential ability means nothing without getting the sufficient game time. If we look at our Wonderkids in 2037, which is about 12 seasons onwards, the players are from the ages of 28 to 30 in the short list. If we just filter by all-time appearances, if you look at the people with the highest all-time appearances, they've all fulfilled their potential. The worst offender is Gavi, who hasn't fulfilled his potential ability by 8. But if we go down to the bottom, where the all-time appearances are lower, the story is totally different. If we look at the guys down below who have less all-time career appearances, you see that most of them are not reaching their potential ability at all. This goalkeeper who has the least appearances because he's a goalkeeper makes sense. He's about 30 away from his potential ability. Rooney Bargi's about 20 away. Kamwalo's 15 away. This guy is over 50 away. So this just shows that all-time appearances is something that is the most important thing when it comes to developing a Wonderkid. The best example I can show you is Franco Mastantuono, who is playing currently for Man United in this save, and he's 30 years old. He has a current ability of 156, but his potential ability in this specific save was 190, so he clearly didn't reach his potential. And if we look at his career stats, he's made 189 appearances throughout his whole career, and as we see after he went to Real Madrid, he never really broke into the first team. He was kind of a squad player here or there, but he never even broke really over 5 starts in La Liga. So he never really got the chance to develop. And you see that, 156 versus 190, that's about 35 away. So he just never had the chance to fully develop, although he is still obviously a pretty damn good player. The third lesson that I learned during my Wonderkid experiment in FM26 is that peak age is a myth. It's all about the mileage that the player has put up. What do I mean by this? If I go into 2040, which is about 15 years into these players' careers, ages are anywhere from 32 to 35, so they are later on in their careers. And if you were going to sign a player at this age, you would really have to know, how much is their physical going to degrade, and you know, how long can they really last at the level that I'm playing at. If we look at some of the guys that are higher in their all-time appearances and are a little bit older on that 34 to 35 side, so somebody like Desiree Doué or Lewis Hall, you see that their physicals are already starting to tank, and that's because they put up a lot of mileage, they put up a lot of appearances, they've been playing a lot throughout their careers, and even when they were young. And it kind of makes sense. Lewis Hall and Desiree Doué have been playing since they were what, 17, 18 years old, so they're kind of the younger players that, you know, broke in very young, so they're gonna kind of have worse physicals when they're older. But then if you compare it to somebody who has less appearances but is older, their physicals will probably have not tanked as much. If we look at somebody with less appearances, so like Elias Baum, who has about 200 less appearances than Lewis Hall but is around the same age, 34, his physicals are a lot more better to deal with and are a lot more doable, shall I say. I will caveat this point with the fact that natural fitness is one of the biggest indicators in terms of how fast your players' physical ratings are going to drop off as they get older. But something else that is absolutely huge, and I've learned through this experiment, is the number of appearances they've made, and you know, how early on in their career they started playing regular football at a high level. The fourth lesson I learned in my Wonder Kid experiment is that the injury prone trait is a career death sentence. I'm going to show you players' injury proneness rating, which is a hidden rating in the game, but in general, a general advice would be that if in the scouting report for the Wonder Kid it says that they're injury prone, please avoid them. Currently, I have the Wonder Kid shortlist ordered by current ability, and if you look to the right of it, you see the injury proneness rating. Like I said before, this is a hidden rating that you can get with, you know, the in-game editor. If you look at it, it's technically like cheating, but I just wanted to show it in this guide. And look, again, our top players like Lenny Yoro, Ayu Buadi, they have very low injury proneness ratings. Keep in mind, a 20 injury proneness rating is the worst rating you can have, and 1 is the best rating you can have. So if you go again lower down, you see that the players that are not reaching their potential and have the lower current abilities tend to have higher injury proneness ratings. Like a player that has one of the highest ones, Rooney Bargi, if we go look at his injury history, I bet that he has a lot of major injuries. So this torn ACL is something that happened in real life. It happened in 2024. So let's just take that out of the equation. Everything else happened during this save. You see, there's what, 5 major injuries and 4 moderate injuries. So all these injuries due to his higher injury proneness rating, which tends to give you more injuries over a save, means that he's way less likely to reach his potential. Or if we look at, you know, Uazan also has 14 injury proneness, and that is a major reason why he did not reach his potential. Compare Bargi to somebody like Lenny Yoro, who, if we look at his injury history, he was obviously one of the top players. Hit injury risk. Go to injury history. The stress fracture, again, was something that happened in real life. He's had 1 major injury, which is a hip injury. He was out for 2 months, and 1 moderate injury. That's it. So there's a high correlation between having low injury proneness rating and just not being injury prone and being able to, you know, reach your potential ability. The last thing that I learned in this Wonder Kid experiment is how important the second club that a Wonder Kid joins is for their development. If a Wonder Kid wants to move from their original club, the second club that they go to is super crucial, because they have to get a good amount of playing time there. Time and time again in these simulations, players who made the wrong choice for their second club and didn't get appearances were not reaching their full potential and really started lagging when it came to picking up their current ability. I hate to pick on my guy Rooney Bargi one more time, but he's one of the players that could have been much better in this save than he actually turned out to be, so he's a really good case study. And his second club is actually, well, it is technically his third club, because very early in his career he moved from Malmo to Copenhagen, but we're not going to count that. His second club and the move happened in real life, which was from Copenhagen to Barcelona, and he did not get that much playing time in Barcelona, obviously, in this save, and that really hampered him. And then he ended up moving to Napoli, where he started getting a bit more playing time off the bench, but at that point it was a little bit too late for him to, you know, fully reach his potential ability that was given to him. Another case study of your second club being wrong or going to your second club too late is somebody like Jesus Fortea, who's also similar to Bargi, 140 current ability and about 158 157 potential ability. So he's similar in terms of current ability and the sort of potential he had. And if you look at his career stats, he was at Real Madrid, but he was not really getting many appearances for the first team. He got 9 starts in his best season. He was mostly playing for the second team in, you know, the 4th and 3rd tier of Spain. So that really stunted his development until he moved to Greece when he was what, like 26, 27. So that was too little too late again. And then by that point, he put some good appearances in Greece, and because he was a homegrown in Spain, Atletico Madrid bought him for, you know, to be a squad piece in the team. And again, it was too little too late because he picked his second club way too late in his career, and he should have moved on to, you know, develop himself and really reach the top end of his potential ability. Anyways, those are the top 5 things I learned after tracking the top 50 Wonder Kids in FM26 for 15 seasons. It's important to note that potential abilities and every save in general can be different, and how players develop can be very different save by save, but these are just good general pointers to know when you are developing your players and what you should keep in mind when picking Wonder Kids. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, and please make sure to also hit the subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed this one. Plenty more to come soon. Peace.